guys, it's Sarah, and today is BookList Thursday. This is a video series I do with my friend Lindsay over at Lindsay's Little Library. And every Thursday we bring you some sort of list or book topic that we feel like talking about for the week. And this week we are talking about cults, you guys. Cults. I don't know what it is, but cult is such a buzzword for me. If there's a book that involves a cult, I am in immediately. They are fascinating to me. It is fascinating to me how people who are a part of cults can be so brainwashed, and just the way that leaders in cults can take advantage of people and get people to believe the things that they're saying. It is so fascinating to me. So today we're going to talk about some cult books. I have 3 fiction and 2 nonfiction to talk about today. Okay, let's just get the first one out of the way. The Last Housewife by Ashley Winstead. And I'm saying that because I've talked about this book so much, but this is my favorite book of the year. It is deliciously dark, and I loved every single word of this book. So this is following a woman who is going back to her college town because her best friend from college has turned up dead and looks like she took her own life. However, she's not convinced that that's what happened. And she is convinced that this is the work of a cult leader that she and her friend were a part of when they were in college. Not just any cult. It's a sex cult, you guys. It was so good. So you see her getting drawn back into this life and being drawn back into like what drew her in the first place and caused her to become a member of this cult. And you even see her denying that it is a cult, even though it's very obvious that it is, and kind of seeing what has happened in the meantime, how this cult has changed and grown. And it was insane, you guys. It was so good. Again, favorite book of the year, hands down. Love this book. But tons of content warnings. They are actually listed on the inside in the very beginning. So make sure you check those out if you plan on picking this book up. But fantastic. Okay, another one I would like to talk about is Pieces of Her by Karen Slaughter. Now, this one follows a woman and her mother who are in a restaurant. They are eating. Something happens in this restaurant that puts everybody in danger. And she sees her mother actually come to the rescue and kind of like takes the guy out. And she's like, "Mom, what's going on? I've never seen this side of you. Who are you? What's going on?" Come to find out, her mother has a very colorful past, including being a cult member. And so you're going back and forth in timelines between those two. And, there's stuff that's happening in the present that is tied to her past and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very good. The next one I'd like to talk about is The Girls by Emma Cline. Now, this one is following a young girl who meets a couple of people from this is set in the 70s, and she meets a couple of girls just like at a gas station or something, and she becomes very enamored by them and very much ends up looking up to them and wanting to be like them. And so she falls into this friend group with them, and they take her back to this area where they're all living, and they are under the influence of a very charismatic man. This is very, very influenced by Charles Manson and his family, the cult of his family. And you can tell that it's influenced by that. It's not actually Charlie Manson. It has a different name, but you can kind of tell that it's very, very similar. So I really enjoyed this book. I did want a little bit more, I wanted to tie a little bit more tightly to the Manson family, and kind of see a little bit more details about that. But the book was very good and it was written really well. Okay, and getting into our nonfiction, let's talk more about the Manson family because I want to talk about Helter Skelter. This is by Vincent Bugliosi and Kurt Gentry. So this is the true crime that actually follows Charles Manson. Vincent Bugliosi was one of the prosecutors in his case. Whew. Okay. Not a lot of books scare me. This book scared me, you guys. I was so creeped out by this, just learning about the people that were in this cult and what they were willing to do without a whole lot of influence. Like, let's be real here. I don't think it took a lot of arm twisting to get these guys to do the things that they were doing. Man. But seeing Charles Manson and seeing what kind of led him up to the point where he was living on a compound with people and leading them, and stuff he was telling them that was happening, and how they believed him, and who he was picking up along the way, because you saw him kind of recruiting and bringing new people in, and you kind of saw the people he was preying on. And oh man, you guys. And then the actual crimes themselves. This has crime scene photos that are a little hard to stomach, but man, like, oh gosh, I'm reading this and it's just so hard to believe that this actually happened. It really is. I mean, this happened in the late 60s. Like, this didn't just happen yesterday, but it feels like it could have. Like, it's just insane. So one of the best nonfiction books I've ever read, one of the best true crime books I've ever read. It was fantastic. Okay, and the next one is another nonfiction that I do not have yet, but it's on my wish list. I really want to get my hands on this one, and that is called Cults. Literally just called Cults. And this is by Max Cutler and Kevin Conley. Now, Max Cutler is the founder of the Parcast, which is a podcast that focuses on cults. And so this book is kind of a big biography of a bunch of different cults, which involves their leaders, their followers, how they were able to manipulate people, all the stuff that I'm really interested in to learn about. And so it follows different groups, some of the most famous ones, and then I'm sure some that I've probably never heard of. But I know that he does cover Charles Manson in here and David Koresh for sure. And those are two definitely big cults that I've heard of. So I'm very excited to get my hands on this one at some point and read it and kind of get some more details into them. And yeah, so it's so fascinating. It's so fascinating, you guys. Okay, guys, that's going to be it for me today. So those are 4 books that I have read, and then one that I would like to read that focus on cults. And let me know down below if you guys have any recommendations for me on books about cults. They can be fiction, they can be nonfiction, doesn't matter. Let me know, because I want all the recommendations because I want to read more. And make sure you go check out Lindsay today and see what books she's recommending that involve cults. I'm really excited to see what she's going to talk about too. And we will see you guys again soon. Hope you have a great day. Bye.